Good evening. Can you believe it is May already?
I can't. It's crazy.
April just flew by. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. You know, it's First Thursday, so Brittany and I are here and we are ready. And we have, I think, a really brilliant topic for you today because, there's a special national worldly holiday coming up this month, Mother's Day.
Yay.
So today our topic is mothers. And I just want to say that, mothers are special creatures. And if I must say so myself, we have magical fingers. We are baby whisperers. It's nothing like, somebody have a baby in the nursery and they can't get them quiet. But if you're a mother, you go in there and let me hold them for a second and nice and calm. We can go without sleep to take care of our sick babies and get up the next morning and go to work like nothing happened. We can work 2 jobs, still take care of the kids. We can just do some amazing things. Nobody can fix a boo-boo like a mom. Dad's like, oh, I got it. Come to me. I want my mommy.
Yep.
We are just magic. And
Especially with boys.
Yes. Yeah, they definitely want mommy. My son is like, what? Son, he should know that he and I were like this. So,
Yep.
it's a thing. But we could even slay those dragons under the bed. So I think we moms are bad to the bone all day long. Woo-hoo!
Yep.
What do you think, Brittany?
I agree. Because there are, dads can have their kudos later, but there are some things that nobody can do like a mom.
That is right. So we're going to talk about some things that we think are special attributes that mothers have. And as you know, you will notice as we go through the list, we use the acronym mothers. And so we pick those things that spell out mothers. So we're going to start out with mentors. Who else can be a mentor besides a mom? There are other people that can be mentors, but moms are a great example of mentors in my book, because what is a mentor? It's someone that has experienced different things. They can help you go through those things. You don't always have to go through the bad parts of it, but they can let you know that you can do this. They can encourage you, get you all hyped up to do whatever it is in life that you want to do. When a mom gets finished, you're like, boy, man, I didn't know I could do that. I'm like Superman. I'm like Batman. I'm like Iron Man, all rolled up into one. They think they're something special because we can. And I'm laughing, but your mothers are there. We watch them. We got those eagle eyes. We're always on watching what's going on. So we kind of know how to kind of guide them and lead them and teach them in the way that they should go. So I think that mothers are one of your children's first mentors. And if we think of it that way, maybe some of you have not, you put it in the comment. Have you thought about that? As a mother, I am a mentor because I lead and teach my kids, what's right, what's wrong. I encourage them about what they can do. They can be the best that they can be at anything. You might have a child and they're like, I just can't get this math no matter what I do. And they try so hard, but you still encourage them. Well, hey, you got another one right today. You can get that other concept, and if they need a tutor, if you need to go speak with that teacher or that professor to find out, Is it something that's missing? Because, they change the methods that they teach, but you can encourage that child and don't let them feel like they're the only one in the world that doesn't know that concept. And let them know you can do it. So that's why I believe, well, moms are mentors.
You're exactly right. But also, like, a mentor, moms can be mentors in the way of like they provide you spiritual guidance here on earth. They can, like, they're like a mom is someone who, like, you can share life things that you're going through, and they can give you advice without judging you and help you think clearly to make decisions. That I agree with what you said, but I would add in that about moms being mentors.
Oh, yes, thank you, definitely. Yes, that's it's so important, that they get that spiritual guidance early as well, because they really, really need that. All right, the next one we're gonna go and let Brittany start this one off. One.
I think of When I think of one, as far as mothers, I think of number one. Like, they're the number one you call when you need help. They're the number one that you call when, like we said, when you need guidance. They can help you figure out anything. For instance, I know how to change a tire. Do I want to? No, but I know how to change a tire. If my son was driving and he called me and he said, I have a flat tire, I need help, I'd hope he would know how to do it, but I would be there. I would help him. Um, Mothers are like your number one. Like you, we grew them in our womb, and we were the first person that they knew, the first person that they come to for, in a lot of cases, nourishment, or just when you're growing up, mothers are the one person that you go to first. Well, some people say boys are mama's boys and girls are daddy's girls. I think it just depends, but mom is always your number one.
Most definitely. And yeah, and two, I think we're number one because, like, especially like with the boys, they say that a lot of young men, if their moms are their first love, they fall in love with their moms first, because I guess she's someone always there, most times always sweet to them and everything. And then I saw somewhere, and I almost used this, but I was like, no, I'm not going to use that. And I cannot pronounce it because I forgot how to spell it, but I want to say it's oxytocin or something like that. But it's a hormone. It's called the love hormone. And they were saying that connects mothers and sons as well. And I was like, wow. But it's so amazing to me when you see a lot of times on TV with athletes when they get drafted or they get MVP or something, and they give a shout out to mom, and dad can be standing right there, but it's, yeah, this is for my mom, whatever. Because they can get moms to do some things. I remember when my youngest son was playing football. He would be playing football. He get the ball, start running, and I'd be running right down the sidelines with him. Like, probably like, what is wrong with that lady? But because, hey, they are the apple of our eyes, number one. We're right there.
Yep, I agree with you. We are moms, especially like you said with boys. Moms are number one.
Yes, most definitely. All right. Now for this T in mother, trust. Trust. A lot of times they say people will trust until you give them a reason not to trust. But then you'll notice that some people, they start out trusting you. And then if you cause them to lose that trust, then you have to go and get it back. But if you're a mom, if you notice, your kids will trust you if they don't trust anybody else. A lot of times they won't, something can be going on. They can get sick at school. They can get a pain or whatever, but they never say anything till they get home, and then they'll tell mom. My son, oldest son, called me this afternoon. He said, "Well, did you hear? Did you talk to your my wife?" No. So he told me one of my granddaughters hurt her ankle
Oh
at
no.
school, but she waited till she got home to tell her mom. Because mom can do something about that. This was just one of those things where they trust you, and that's a lot of times I talk about hearing and listening to our children. So, but that's why it's so important to listen to them, because when they have those things that they're thinking about, they're not unsure about, and it can cause them to go one way or the other. So you can either encourage them or let them down, and then that impacts their self-esteem. So you want to make sure that you're there for them, you're listening, and so that they know that hey, I can go to my mom. It's like she'll do anything. And I hate the reference, but I mean the only thing I have to reference is my kids. But I remember my oldest son, I think we had one car at the time. We might have had two. But anyway, he was driving my car and he had an accident. And so when he told me about it, I was like, "What were you doing?" And then I was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And then he says, "I told my friend, my mom's gonna ask what happened, but she's gonna say, 'Are you okay?' She's not gonna worry about the car first. She's gonna worry about me." And this is how we are.
Yep. That is definitely, moms are the ones you go to. And but I also think that like we teach them how to trust. Like we teach them how to trust not just us but others, and how to use discernment and who to trust and who to be comfortable enough with that you can tell, things that happen other than just us, like dad. So that's definitely something I think about when I think of moms and trust.
Great, 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 great.
We have to teach them how to trust not just us, but trust others, and how not to trust the wrong people.
Yeah, and it's funny, and they will listen to their moms. I
Oh
was in
yeah.
a Dollar Tree, and it was the cutest little boy behind me, and he had what was it? He had I want to say it was applesauce, and I was like, "Oh, now that's just a miracle." I said, "Now all the things in the store, I will look for you to have candy, but you have applesauce." I said, "What's your name?" He kept turning around. I said, "Hi, how old are you?" And his mom said, "It's okay. You can speak to her." And he looked at his mom, and I said, "What's your name?" He's like, She said, "Well, see, I told strangers. We teach him not to talk to strangers." She said, "But son, if I say it's okay, you can talk to them." But his mom had told him no talk to strangers, so he didn't care what I said. He ain't gonna talk to me,
Right.
and that's a good thing. Yes. Well, our next one are those hugs. The H stands for hug.
I don't know about you, Deborah, but hugs are my favorite, especially when it comes to my kiddo. I love hugs. Now, sometimes I don't like hugs from just anybody, but I will always take his hugs, and he loves to give them. I currently work at the school that he goes to, and every time he takes a nap, when he wakes up from nap time, he needs to give me a hug, and I'm ready for it every single day. And I love that he knows that if he needs a timeout or a moment to calm down, he can come to me and I'll give him a hug, and we can talk about it, and we make it all better.
That's amazing. And I was looking, and they said a mother's hug lasts and lasts and lasts. So when they come to mom and get that hug, they remember that. They may be going off the plan, but it's not like, maybe somebody gave them something and then they went along to play, but that made them feel secure and warm and loving. So a hug means so much.
Yeah.
So hugs are good things. And I don't know what Nestle's was thinking about when they named those the little chocolate pieces hugs, but they hugs and kisses. They
Yep.
came out with the kisses first, but then they got the little hugs now with the multi, I think the chocolate and vanilla together, the hugs. But
Yep.
I know I like a hug every now and then I always talk about, people, even as they get older, if they live alone or something, they may not ever get a hug and they might be having a down day. And you know how that makes you feel if somebody gives you a hug and you really need it. So imagine if your child's having a bad day or they just want that reassurance that, I got somebody that I can count on, and they may wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, what's wrong? I don't know, but you give them that hug and that's like all they need. You might have to sit there with them for a minute, but they're all good. So I
Yeah.
know that should make you feel awesome.
Yep. And I think sometimes it's a little reset for the nervous system to get a hug and jolt you out of whatever you're going through sometimes.
Mm, yes. If you love a hug, put it in the chat. Let us know you like those hugs. Don't be embarrassed. And if you love to give your kids a hug, you know, it's all good. It's all good. I
Yep.
know one of my granddaughters and one of my heartbeats, she's very, 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 very shy. But when she sees me, we go to the same church. She'll come to children's church, and she'll just give Nana a hug. And it makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
So I love the hugs. So I can imagine that they really, really love those hugs. Alrighty. Now empathy. Empathy is a good one because sometimes I think that they have bad days just like we have bad days, and they may do something and then they think about it and they are feeling like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I don't think I should have done that. And is my mom or my dad going to be disappointed in me that I did that? But when they get in your presence, and whether they tell you or someone has sent a note home or whatever, you may read it and say, okay, so this is what happened, but what was going on with you today? What were you thinking about? Well, I'm so sorry that happened, even if it's something that they shouldn't have done. I'm so sorry that happened, but we don't bite people. That's not something that you're supposed to do. Why do you think you did that? But you don't start yelling or whatever, because children do certain things and they pick up habits not because they're bad or anything. They see other kids doing things, they may do them or something like that. Because the youngest one, she goes to daycare and she bites. Now, why she does that, we don't know. Where she get the biting from, but she does it. So you have to try to get them to understand, we don't do that. That's not nice. You wouldn't want anybody to bite you, but there's a way to do that. We have to let them know that we're still here for you. Of course, they're still learning. And remember, we talked about the very first thing, mentors. So we are that mentor to teach them that it's not something you do. And yes, you're going to make mistakes. So you're not, why did you do that? Don't you ever do that again? Because they like, what in the world?
Right.
So that's why I think moms are good with empathy.
Yes, exactly what you said, but I also think moms are good with empathy for teaching our children how to care about and care for others, because it's easy to teach them how to make sure that they're okay, but it's a little bit of a challenge to teach them that, like, how, like you said, it's not safe to bite others, but also why we share with others at the appropriate times, and why we care about others when they are upset or hurting or sad. I think that is and it's not as easy as you think to teach children how to care about others.
No, it's not. That's one thing that you have to really take a lot of time and patience with. That's a good
Yes.
point.
Yep.
See, mothers, y'all are so special. And if
Y'all,
you
you're a mom too.
Yes, 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 yes. If you just joined us, we are talking about mothers and some special attributes that mothers have. And so we're almost down to the end of them, but we're going to talk about role model. What do you think about role mothers as role models, Brittany?
I think that mothers are definitely role models, but sometimes it can be a daunting challenge because really we're role models for our children from the time that they're born, and we face so many challenges after childbirth, with hormones and postpartum depression, that it can be really hard to keep yourself in check and remember to have things like empathy and um, care for others, and also just like rational thinking sometimes. And
Mhm.
because I mean, you've had children, you know how those hormones go. Sometimes you're not very rational, but when you have to think about the fact that your children are literally copying and doing, mirroring everything that you do, it can be a bit of a daunting thing, but it's also one of the most rewarding things, because at the end of the day, if you're a great role model for your child, that they are becoming a great person.
Mhm. Yes, most definitely. And role models are very important. And talking about the mentors and then as teachers as well, because mothers, parents are your child's first teacher a lot of times, because they watch what you do, whether you think they're playing with those blocks or those cars or those dolls or whatever they are, but they are listening to what you're saying, even if you're not talking to them, what you're doing, if you're cooking, they're, watching that, vacuuming, anything like that. And so we have to be so very careful of our actions, our words and our actions. And, especially as ladies are supposed to be treated a certain way. So whether you are a single mom or you are a married mom, you want others to respect you. And so it's not a good role model if you allow others to disrespect you, or like those dads opening those car doors, or those dads doing, not to say moms can't take out the trash, but if dad's there, you take out the trash. If he's not there, mom take out the trash. And with different things, but it's a helping hand, I think, because our models are different than it was 50, 100 years ago, when mom stayed at home and dad went out to work. So in most families, both are working. So we have to have, husbands and wives have to have teamwork. So as an example, I taught my kids, my sons, how to wash, how to iron, how to cook. And like with my husband, we tag team with most things. On Thursdays, he starts to wash. So he'll wash so many loads of different things. And then on Friday, I change the linen. So I normally do the linen and the whites. But we tag team.
Hmm.
He don't cook a lot of times. Sometimes I cook, whatever. So, you teach your kids those type things are okay. So when you want to teach them how that they are supposed to teach ladies in the future. So that very first role model would be mom. This is how others should treat your mom. This is how you should treat your mom, to talk to your mom. And so when you are away from here, that is how you emulate treatment as well. So I think mothers are really can be a really, really great role model. So we are role models, but we're good ones are not so good. So because they are watching us, whether you think they are or not. And if you don't believe me, check them out sometimes. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't know where they picked that up from. I don't know where they picked that up from, because they are watching.
Yep.
Something I used to say, I wouldn't curse, say bad words, but I would say, what the? And that was all I would say. And one of my granddaughters went to her other grandmama's house, and she thought she was getting ready to say a bad word, and she kept saying, what the? And they said, where'd she get that from? Oh, she got that from her nana. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I think those role models important.
Very important.
All right. Now we are on our last one, that S in mothers, and that is the support. Support.
I don't know about you, but I think that there's no greater support you can have than when you have a mom, because even if you're going to do something they advised you against, they'll still support you, even if it's going to not turn out the way that you think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a very good support system, because they can support you as to, like you said, if they do something wrong, you can still. Well, I'll give this example. When one of my sons was small, we went to a store, and then I realized that he took something out of the store. We didn't pay for it. So first thing first was, now we don't do that. And if you go in the store and you want something, you have to ask for it. And either I'm going to buy it or I'm not. But you don't go in the store and pick up something and you don't pay for it. That's called stealing. And when you start stealing small things, that can grow into big things. And then you can go to jail for stealing. Now, what we're going to do, we're going back to the store. Not only are you going to pay, you're going to pay for what you took, and you're going to apologize. So it wasn't all the screaming and, I'm going to kill you, but it was teaching them the lesson, because maybe they didn't know. They see you go in the store, and if they don't have a concept of buying or whatever. So it's that support in that, yes, you did something that was wrong. This is what you should have done, but I'm still here for you. I'm still being that mentor. I'm still being that role model, and I'm showing you the way.
Right.
So we can support them in any and everything. So, a lot of times parents will want a child to, I hope my son's a doctor. I hope my son is a lawyer. I hope my son goes into the family business. But is that what your child wants? If not, you got to support them for using the skills that they have for the purpose that God has given them, for them to use them for. So there are so many different ways that we as mothers can support. But I think that for support is super.
Yes. And, something else that I think about is that when there's a show called Sweet Magnolias, and in that show, there are three women who are best friends, and they live in this small town. And anytime two of them have children, anytime the child needs advice, and, if they're afraid they'll get in trouble with their mom or something, they will go to one of their mom's friends. And I think about that as moms with support, because we have such tight-knit circles of friend groups that when our children feel like they need help, or they know that one of the other friends can help in a certain area, they know we have trusted people that they can also go to get support.
Yes, that's great. Awesome. So again, mothers are superheroes. Mothers are special. But again, mothers, God gave mothers all this equipment that we needed to put in our toolbox to help us to raise our children. And so, it's nice to kind of sit down sometimes and think about these things, because, people think about them. We didn't just wake up one day and know what to do with children, but God in his wisdom equipped us with these things. So again, there are many other attributes, but these were some that I just picked out from mother mentors, being that one person, that number one, the trust, the hugs, the empathy, being a role model, and that support. Is there some other ones that you want to throw out that you have been thinking about, Brittany?
I think of mothers in general as kind and sharing, and I think my favorite one probably is that we went over is support. But I think there are so many words that you can use to describe mothers.
Yes. So I hope that you all enjoyed our talk on mothers today. I know this is supposed to be, let's talk about something that's engaging, something that's interesting. But hey, I do think that this is interesting. And a lot of times we don't think about certain things. We are always hustling and bustling and we do this. But, every now and then it's good to sit down and think, yes, I'm a mother. What does that entail? What does that mean? That doesn't just mean I'm going to bear some kids and make sure they get raised and get to college and go get a job. What are some of the things that I'm supposed to be doing as I'm mothering, as I'm being a father? It's just interesting, I thought.
It is. It's very interesting. I think sometimes we can get caught up in the mundane life of being a parent that we stop to think about like the fun aspects of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is a joy. There's nothing like being a mom, and there's nothing like being a nana. I love it. So thank you all for tuning in. I want you to check out this video because I am super, super, super excited because Mothers with Sons seminar begins Monday, May 5th, running through Thursday, the 8th. So check out this video.
Join Coach Deborah D. Smith for the 6th annual Virtual Mothers with Sons seminar. This year's theme is Building Healthy Relationships. The event starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, nightly from Monday, May 5th to Thursday, May 8th. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Special guests include Joy C. Jones, Elder Tanya Presley, Nickena Bryant Ellis, and Anita J. Cummings. These relational speakers will engage in healthy, encouraging, strengthening words about how young men and mothers can build healthy relationships, enhancing their ability to build their best lives. For more information, visit www.buildyourbestlife.org.
Hey,
That looks awesome.
Yes, thank you. So y'all make sure that you put it on your calendar. Make sure that you're ready to join in next week. Again, that's Monday through Thursday, live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Central. If you can't catch it live, catch it on the rewind on YouTube or Facebook, but you gotta check them out. I can't wait.
I can't wait to watch them.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for tuning in today. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you so much, Brittany. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I always have a lot of fun.
All right. Tell Remy I said good night.
I will.
All right. Bye-bye.